being joined by a legal practitioner, Idris Faro. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, viewers.
Well, all of this matters, and some say the giver and the taker, they're all culpable. But again, looking at it from the legal point of view, what's your make of all of this bribery allegation?
Well, thank you very much. You see, the offense of accepting gratification by public officers under the criminal code is divided into two. The giver is guilty of the offense, the taker is equally guilty of the offense. But in the case of Honorable Farouk Lawan, the allegation that has been made against him is to the effect that he solicited for the bribe. And if that be the case, and if the evidence that the police have obtained show that it was solicited for, then it is the taker that is guilty of the offense.
So if someone solicits and the other person under pressure, or maybe not even under pressure, gives, in this case the giver will be exonerated?
The giver will be exonerated if he has no intention of giving. If it was solicited by the person asking for the bribe, and the giver did not have any intention to give the bribe, the giver cannot be said to be guilty of the offense, except especially when it is said that he had informed the law enforcement agents about the soliciting by the public officer. So the giver is exonerated in that regard.
But in this case, some say, well, since we've been seeing some kind of audio evidence, we're yet to see a video evidence, if truly there was anything like that, and Farouk Lawan has said, well, that wasn't his voice, and we're trying to play by the evidences at our disposal. What is the place of that in the law court?
Well, there is no doubt that an accused person will look for all defenses to get out of any criminal allegation. In my own opinion...
But they do that with the help of lawyers like yourself.
Well, every accused person has a right to be defended by counsel of his choice. But as I said earlier, there is no doubt that every accused person will want to get out of any criminal allegation leveled against him. But the excuse or defense being put forward by Honorable Farouk Lawan's lawyer is not tenable at all. If he says that the voice heard on the audio evidence is not the voice of his client, it is left for the prosecution, if the case gets to court, to prove that by calling voice experts. I don't agree that there is not sufficient evidence to charge Honorable Farouk Lawan to court. There is ample evidence to charge him to court. It is left for the prosecution to call experts to show whether it is the voice of the honorable that we heard on TV in the audio evidence or it wasn't his voice. That is a matter for prosecution to prove in court. And I must say now that under section 15(5) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, the state shall abolish all corrupt practices and abuse of power. It is incumbent upon the prosecution to charge Honorable Farouk Lawan to court and prove his allegation. And if it is proved, he should be convicted and dealt with according to law.
Is the police doing enough in all of this?
Well, so far so good. I am disappointed about what I've heard from the police. It appears as if the police is trying to abdicate its duty. It is not sufficient for the police to say that they don't have enough evidence. The evidence shown by the audio, the audio we have heard on TV is sufficient.
Can it be tendered in court? Because some people have said that that's a spoiling of evidence.
No, I don't agree that it cannot be tendered. Any evidence can be, any evidence that is relevant is admissible in court. Admissibility deals with relevancy. Once an evidence is relevant, it is admissible.
So airing it on TV has absolutely nothing to do with it being tendered in court?
No, I don't agree that it impairs the evidence. By showing it on TV does not impair the evidence, in my own honest opinion.
Okay, so what are we doing now in terms of, do you think that this is a distraction? Looking at this bribery allegation, do you think that we're leaving what the main issue should be and we're just chasing shadows with this particular scandal?
Well, it may tend to be that it's a distraction. But we won't say, because the fuel subsidy report, the investigation of the mismanagement of the subsidy has not been fully dealt with, and as such we should forget the issue of the allegation. The two issues should be dealt with accordingly. The allegation against Farouk Lawan should be dealt with, then the report itself should be implemented fully. I'm happy that we have seen some part implementation. There has been a change in administration in the NNPC, but that is not sufficient. All ministers who are culpable or who have been accused of one corrupt practice or the other under the report should equally be dismissed from the executive.
Should they be dismissed? Because we had a guest here earlier who said that we haven't shone enough light on the public officers who approved the monies that the people who were defrauding the government or the people, you know, through the subsidy scheme. We haven't had enough light shone on them, and that the focus should be more on the public officers who should be prosecuted in his own opinion. Is it enough to dismiss them? Do you think they should be prosecuted as well?
Well, before prosecution, the president should sack all those ministers who have been accused of one corrupt practice or the other by providing the subsidy report. Then if there is sufficient evidence to prosecute them in court, they should be prosecuted accordingly. Because, I mean, the issue of ethics is involved. It is involved. And under fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy, the national ethics shall be discipline and integrity. There is paucity of integrity
So for
in the Federal Executive Council.
The integrity of that report is still intact despite the allegations against the chairman of the committee that sat on it.
Yes, I believe so. The report still has some semblance of integrity, notwithstanding the allegation against the chairman of the committee, because all these issues were in public domain. Like I said the other time I appeared on TV, people knew about these corrupt practices. These are not things that are new to the public. The public is aware.
Now you're talking about integrity. What exactly should we be doing as a nation? For instance, some are saying that Honorable Farouk Lawan shouldn't even step into the assembly anymore for the time being. He should be suspended. Some others are also saying, why is it that Femi Otedola is also seen around the presidency, just as some have also complained about some other individuals. Does this make nonsense of all this fight about corruption?
It makes a total nonsense of the fight against corruption, and I'm beginning to wonder that the so-called fight against corruption is a phony, because you cannot foster an orderly and just society by dining and wining with people who should have been charged with criminal offenses.
It's not as if they are guilty, Sha.
Look, guilty, the word guilty is for the court to pronounce. But once your character is tainted somehow by criminal allegations, the government should ostracize you completely. They should distance themselves, because what message are we sending to the public? Where corrupt people, public officials, people who hold high offices are still dining and wining with government is wrong.
But that's the problem. I mean, you say corrupt people are still dining and wining with the government, but they haven't been proven corrupt by any competent court with jurisdiction, have they?
I agree with you that there is presumption of innocence under our constitution. But once there is allegation of crime, once allegation of crime is leveled against you, somehow your fundamental rights are abridged. Somehow, because you now become a suspect. The police will interrogate you. Then after interrogation, evidences will be obtained and sieved. If the evidences are cogent enough, then a charge or information will be preferred against you in the court. So we shouldn't wait until when the court pronounces them guilty before we start leveling some elements of punishment. There should be an abridgment of their rights somehow, if not total, partial. Government should distance itself from such persons. They should be charged accordingly and dealt with under the laws of the country. You see, one of the purpose or one of the objects of the criminal code is to foster an orderly society. And not only that, to forbid and deal with conduct that unjustifiably and inexcusably inflicts or threatens substantial harm against individual and public interest. If that be the case, then why, I repeat, should our leaders be seen hobnobbing with corrupt people, or people that allegations of corruption are leveled against the people who have unfairly benefited from the material resources of the country? It's wrong.
Can we make any headway in all of this?
What I believe we can make a headway if government does its duty under the Constitution. It is incumbent upon those who are in government to ensure that corrupt practices are abolished in the country, because it's a constitutional provision, and if they fail to do it, then the people will show them that sovereignty resides in them. You see, government is not a personal property. Government exists at the mercy of the people. They are servants of the people. Then when they fail to serve the people, then the people have a right to abolish them and put in place a better government that will listen to them and serve their yearnings and aspirations.
Through the ballot?
Of course, through the ballot.
But again, some have been talking about the powers of recall. Some say, especially from the local government where Farouk Lawan comes, they say they just might have him recalled. What's the process when you try to recall maybe anyone you're not too pleased with?
Well, the Constitution provides for process of recalling and hearing a representative or senator, and it's often done by way of referendum. There will be an election, in that constituency. People will sign petition, then after petition, referendum will be conducted, and if the requirements are fully met, then the representative or the senator ceases to be a member of the National Assembly. But in the past, that constitutional provision has not been fully given its just desert. And of course, the hearing parliamentarian will do all they can to ensure that such does not work. They will go about bribing and interfering with the process. And it's really unfortunate.
Are you satisfied with the way the House, sorry to butt in there, are you satisfied with the way the House has handled this matter? First, Farouk Lawan was suspended as the committee chairman for education as well as on this subsidy matter.
Well, I'm satisfied with the suspension, but it shouldn't stop at that. It should not. The interview, sorry, the probe they are conducting now, it was said that Mr. Femi Otedola was invited, and he got there, and they said he insisted that the probe should be made public, and he has to refuse. I'm even surprised that government actions are being done in private. It's wrong. It should be made public for everybody to see. They are not serving themselves, they are serving the people, and the people must know what is going on inside government. So to the extent that he was suspended, I am satisfied, but it is not sufficient. He should be charged accordingly, and the people of his constituency should start the process of recalling him now. He's not fit to be in the parliament.